So, it has been officially confirmed that Halo Infinite has now been delayed to 2021. For the most part, I think this is a very good thing. A great thing, even. But, in some ways, this is a little worrying, and I'm going to explain why. So, let's just get into it. So, the good for this happening, let's talk about the positives first. This now gives the game so much more time to be developed. A whole lot more time. Sure, the demo that they showed not too long ago, that was a demonstration, and it was from weeks ago, which is still very worrying. So the fact that that's only a few weeks old, it makes you think it's probably a little bit behind schedule, which, considering what 343 put out with their statement, it probably was. And now that they actually have more time to finish the game, hopefully they can pull a Bungie, like how Bungie did with Halo 2, and end up having something great as a result of the effort that they're putting in, because it's pretty safe to say that ever since they lost their creative director, shit's kind of hit the fan, and things probably haven't been all that good, which I'll get into a bit more in the negative side. But for now, even though it's a shame that we're not going to have the game now by the end of this year as originally planned, it's better to delay a game than to release one that's trash. Like, the fact that Microsoft is even allowing this shows how far both them and I would say 343 have come within the last 6 years alone. Because only 6 years ago, Microsoft and 343 were planning to put out something, Halo the Master Chief Collection, which just wasn't ready for launch. That was very obvious, one of the worst launches in gaming history. So the fact that that 343 is being allowed the time really says something. Like, I just feel like the corporate higher-ups at 343 itself, which I guess is just Microsoft, but either way, higher-ups are finally getting their heads out of their asses and realizing, yeah, we need to delay a game. Basically, the dark days of the mid-2010s of gaming, and just Halo in general, I think are past us, at least in that regard. Which is only a good thing, because we don't need to ever go back to that point. That's a dark point. We just got out of having nothing, out of there being no moisture in the air whatsoever, just pure dry air for 5 years or so since Halo 5 released about 5 years ago. So the fact that shit's moist and wet again and just fresh and new, it's just nice to have anything, It's just nice to have anything. But anyways, something else I absolutely do wonder is how late in 2021 are they pushing it to? Are we talking early 2021 up till like March or April? We talking fall, winter? Definitely not summer, because games AAA rarely ever launch in the summer. Like, the fact that Sony did, like, they're an exception. Sony's always been a little different when it comes to their releases, since they started releasing games on Friday before it was cool. So it definitely wouldn't launch then. So I think at most it'd be pushed back a year, and if that's the case, which I'm really hoping is the case, I feel like it's not going to be the case, but I really hope that's the case. And if it is, then that means from now in August of 2020 to November of 2021, that's a year and 3 months to do betas, flights, tests, and over a year of marketing. Basically, all the time that they spent not marketing the game can now actually be put to use. I feel like the reason why they didn't is because they just didn't want to repeat another Halo 5. So it's like, it makes you think, okay, they must be so confident in this game to not be revealing anything like this close to release. No, it's just things were going wrong behind the scenes, and, the rest is history at this point. The Craig meme says everything. Although we do love him, he is our Lord and Savior. Praise Craig. Pray to him once a night. So something else that's absolutely affected, as we know, is the launch of the Xbox Series X. This was supposed to be the first Halo game to launch alongside an Xbox system since Combat Evolved, the first Halo game. So it's obviously good for Halo, but at the same time, it's obviously bad for Xbox. But honestly, I don't think Microsoft's all that concerned. Because for anyone who hasn't noticed, Microsoft as of late has been going in the direction of Xbox as a platform as opposed to Xbox as a console. Probably the only reason that they're putting out the Xbox Series X is to just have something there for those who want it, a most powerful Xbox for those that don't care for PC and want something more powerful than Xbox One, and I guess are loyal to Xbox to a point. Just anyone who wants something somewhat traditional, but with where Microsoft is right now, it's like now you can play basically all their games on PC, except something like Halo 5, which at this point is an older game, or soon on your phone through xCloud. Like, Microsoft does not care about where you're buying games so long as you're buying games and so long as you're supporting Game Pass. That's all they care about. Especially because I know Microsoft recently has been saying, no, we are not making Xbox Live Gold free. Those rumors are totally, absolutely false, even though multiple insiders have said it at this point. And let's not forget that not too long ago, people were doubting that Halo Infinite multiplayer was going to be free, and look where we are now. So Xbox Live Gold becoming free is something that probably is going to happen at some point within the next year. I just see it happening. The fact that 12 months is gone goes to show that it probably is. And the fact that they still are putting up Xbox Live Gold required for games like Infinite, that's probably just the marketing trying to deny the leaks as much as possible until they are inevitably revealed to be true, which honestly I could see Microsoft doing with one of the next Xbox events coming up within the next few months or so. But back to what I was originally saying. In terms of just solely Xbox Series X as an individual console versus PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 already has a beat. But again, that's not what Microsoft's focus is, and it'll be interesting to see where this generation of consoles takes the industry. Because gaming nowadays is in a very different place from where it was even just 10 years ago. Because even with the 7th gen, shit was still kind of normal, with the exception of the generation being longer than most, and that trend continuing for the 8th gen, and now consoles don't really care about exclusivity as much. It's more so just playing games on wherever, so long as you're just supporting and playing our games and purchasing whatever it is we're putting out. Like, gaming's definitely changed a lot, and it's showing in a whole lot of ways. Plenty of good, plenty of bad, but the industry has changed a lot. I mean, the fact that we live in an era where a hybrid console is being released in March of 2017, in the middle of a generation, alongside mid-gen refreshments. Like, it really shows a lot about how different shit is now compared to, again, just only 10 years ago. But yeah, back to the original point again, Microsoft probably isn't as concerned as people think. They're probably like, whatever, this is here for people who want it. Anyone else, they'll buy our game on whatever else we put it out. Maybe even PlayStation one day. I know that right now, Microsoft is saying no to PS4, but corporations lie, believe it or not. Again, just going by what I said earlier, I know it's hard to believe, but companies, corporations, they lie about shit all the time until that thing that they lied about turns out to be true. Again, just Xbox Live Gold, Halo Infinite multiplayer, but we've already dedicated enough time to that in this video. Anyways, that's all the positive stuff. Let's move on to the negatives. So, the negatives. It really doesn't have to do with what you think it does. No, to me, when I'm talking about the negatives, what I'm concerned with is how is this affecting the health of 343's employees? See, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but crunch culture is kind of an issue in gaming. And we've seen plenty of recent examples. Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2. Naughty Dog with Last of Us Part 2. Hell, even CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk. So it really makes me wonder, if there is major crunch issues going on at 343, then how is this delay affecting the employees? How is it affecting their health? Because while delays may seem good, if the studio has to deal with crunch, then that just means an extended period of crunch that the developers have to go through. And I'm really hoping that's not what's happening with 343. I hope that the developers are in a good place and that they can properly breathe with this delay. But if not, and it turns out that crunch is still a factor, if it is a factor at all, I feel like it definitely is going to be to a point in order to get this game out by 2021. But if it's a major one, that's like to the point of your employees having to go in the bathroom to cry and have a mental breakdown about their work environment, then that's an issue. And this delay is only going to hurt more than it's going to help. It'll be good for the consumers and fans, but for the developers, like, they lose out. Everyone else, it's a win-win, but for the developers themselves, it's like they get shit on, and they got to take the blame because of the various fuck-ups that they've made, you know? Even if 343 did have a very solid record, they'd still get the shit for anything like this. So, I'm just really hoping that things behind the scenes are good, because again, with the creative director leaving when they did, it really makes you worry about how the game is going behind the scenes. The fact that they need a delay, even though the game's been in development for 5 years now, definitely says something. That's definitely a major red flag. Like, yeah, COVID definitely affects some of that, but 1 year of COVID is not going to affect 5 years of game development overall. So probably just issues with different visions, having to dedicate so much time to one engine, having to optimize the game for Xbox One, Series X, and PC. There's probably a whole bunch of different factors behind the scenes, because at the end of the day, even though I'm not a game developer, I'm sure that game development is very hard and extremely frustrating. It's just that as consumers, we don't see it. We only consume what we're given when it's released. So at the end of the day, let's hope that Halo Infinite turns out good and that it's not at the cost of people's health and lives. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, then make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe for future content coming soon, and I don't ever say this, but might as well start doing it because I feel like a lot of people don't do this. Turn on notifications and set it to all notifications. Not just some, all, so you get all my videos. I see other YouTubers doing this pretty often, and for good reason, because it's like you have to subscribe 2 times to get all the content, unfortunately. So yeah, just do that, and I will see you for the next upload within the next few days as always. But until then, I'm out. Later.